You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible.
Yeah, the Republican Party really is filled with a whole bunch of damn snowflakes. I mean, of course, they took down Neera Tanden, of course, who was nominated by Biden to be his head of Office of Management and Budget over her tweets critical of senators. You had Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, the Democrat, who was whining as well, oh, I don't like her tweets, and the Republicans were complaining. And these are the same people who didn't say a damn thing for 4 years about all the shameful and despicable tweets of Donald Trump. Now, all of a sudden, they care about what folks tweet. The same thing happened today when they had the Senate confirmation hearing for Associate Attorney General nominee Vanita Gupta. We had her on our show many times. She's, of course, head of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights. Listen to this. Yeah, I was about to go there. This idiot from Texas, who's an absolute embarrassment for those of us who are from Texas, Ted Cruz. Watch this crap.
The Department of Justice has a long history of being apolitical, of exercising fidelity to law, of not being used as a partisan weapon to target the enemies of whichever administration is in power. The Obama-Biden administration corrupted that process, and we are still dealing with the consequences. I believe appointees to the Department of Justice should have a demonstrated record of fidelity to law and impartiality, an ability to defend the rule of law. Ms. Gupta, as I look at your record is one of an extreme partisan advocate. Your record is an ideologue. Now, there's a role in our democratic and political process for ideologues, for people that are extreme, radical advocates. That role, I believe, is not being the number 3 lawyer at the Department of Justice in charge of the impartial and fair administration of justice. As I look at your record on every single issue, the positions you've advocated for are on the extreme left, and you've demonstrated an intolerance for and hostility to anyone that disagrees with the extreme left political positions. On the issue of abortion, is there any restriction whatsoever on an abortion that you believe is permissible?
Senator, first, let me begin by saying I'm sorry that you feel that way. As a lifelong civil rights advocate, my duty has been to enforce the Constitution, not enforce anyone's political agenda or partisan agenda. I have apologized today for some of the harsh rhetoric that I've used, and I mean that
and I'm not focusing on your college years. I'm focusing on as an adult and practicing lawyer. But let's just start with a substantive question. Is it permissible for the government to prohibit partial birth abortion? Yes or no?
Senator, my duty, if confirmed, will be to federal laws and the Constitution. Roe versus Wade is established precedent and has been reaffirmed numerous times by the courts. And my duty will be to enforce the federal laws and the Constitution.
Okay, so you're declining to answer that. How about the Heller decision, which upheld the individual right to keep and bear arms, a fundamental right in the Bill of Rights? Was Heller rightly decided?
Senator, Heller is law of the land, and I will enforce Heller as
okay, so you're not answering that either. All right, let's shift to a different topic. Religious liberty. You've demonstrated significant hostility to religious liberty. You have defended the Obama administration's targeting and persecuting of the Little Sisters of the Poor. Not too long ago, religious liberty was a bipartisan commitment in Congress. The Religious Freedom Restoration Act was introduced by then Representative Chuck Schumer. It passed the House unanimously. It passed the Senate 97-3 and was signed into law by President Clinton. Now, today's Democratic Party has abandoned religious liberty. Indeed, the Equality Act, of which you are a vocal supporter, that has now come out of the House of Representatives, is a radical piece of legislation that, among other things, explicitly repeals significant aspects of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act to take away our religious liberties. You have been a vocal defender of the Equality Act. Do you agree with the provisions stripping RFRA's religious liberty protections from Americans?
Senator, let me begin by saying that religious liberty is incredibly important to me. I am a person of faith. My family is one of deep and abiding faith. And this country's founding freedom was rooted in religious liberty. I have defended religious freedom throughout my career. When I was at the Justice Department, I launched an interagency effort to protect religious liberty.
Ms. Gupta, I appreciate that, but our time is limited, so if you could answer the question I asked.
It's only fair to allow her to complete her answer.
Mr. Chairman, I understand that she has things she wants to say, but I asked if she supports the repeal of RFRA. That's not the question.
Senator, if you want to make a speech, you may make a speech.
I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question, and she's giving a speech, and I understand that you support her nomination, so you're giving a speech too. But I'm asking a question.
I'm asking you to allow her to answer.
She was not answering. She's welcome to answer the question. The question is, do you support the Equality Act's repealing RFRA's protections of religious liberty for Americans?
Senator, I support RFRA. I have enforced provisions of RFRA, and the Justice Department must enforce the law. The Justice Department enforces religious liberty and protects it. It also enforces our nation's anti-discrimination laws.
Let me try a third time. Do you support the Equality Act's repeal of RFRA's religious liberty protections?
Senator, if confirmed as Associate Attorney General, my duty will be to enforce laws to protect religious liberty and the anti-discrimination laws that the Justice Department
Okay, so you're declining to answer that as well.
Actually, she did. Here's Senator Dick Durbin, who is the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, speaking about the attacks from Republicans. Watch this.
And would you like to say a few words about Senator Grassley's concern with your tweets?
Thank you, Chairman Durbin. I do not support defunding the police. I have, in fact, spent my career advocating where it's been necessary for greater resources for law enforcement in things like body-worn cameras, officer wellness and safety programs, and any number of measures. I believe that is why I today enjoy the honor of having so much law enforcement support. It would be with a great honor for me to return to the Justice Department precisely to continue to roll up my sleeves and work hand in glove and understand the current needs of law enforcement in some of the most challenging times that are presented for frontline responders. I have indeed, Senator, talked about something that I hear reflected from police officers and police chiefs, sheriffs, and civil rights activists about the fact that for too long we have placed almost all or so many of our nation's social problems at the feet of police. From everything from homelessness to mental health issues to substance use disorder. And when we speak about this, we speak about the fact that law enforcement has been dealt this burden of having to deal with all of these problems and the need for greater investment in mental health services and community-based drug treatment programs. And so when I've spoken about investments, it has been really about something that I've heard and I've talked to at length for years, long before George Floyd was killed, with law enforcement, about the need to provide them supports and to not have them be the only go-to response, holding the burden of all of these issues. And I will continue, if confirmed as Associate Attorney General, to listen to the voices of law enforcement, to continue to advocate for their resources so they can do everything they need to do to keep our communities safe and to have the trust of the communities that they serve. On the tweets, Chairman, and I appreciate you giving me this opportunity, and I should say to Ranking Member Grassley and to the other members who I understand have these concerns, I understand why you have them. I take them seriously. I regret the harsh rhetoric that I have used at times in the last several years. Perhaps I think the rhetoric has gotten quite harsh over the last several years, and I have fallen prey to it, and I wish I could take it back. I can't. But what I can commit to you and ask that you do is look at my lifelong record. I have, from the early on in my career, sought out people who don't always think like me, people who have very different views, because I believe in the importance of building consensus to get things done. While I've been a lifelong idealistic civil rights lawyer, I am a deeply pragmatic person. I'm a relationship builder. I think that's why I have the trust of law enforcement today on some of the most difficult problems that we face. And I understand that the position of Associate Attorney General is a law enforcement position. It has to be strictly nonpartisan in every measure. I must represent the full equities of the American people and enforce the federal laws and Constitution free from any kind of partisan influence. I've done it before. I did it when I was at the Civil Rights Division. I've been in the Justice Department before. And I can pledge to you today that if I am confirmed or regardless, you won't be hearing that kind of rhetoric from me. And I will look forward to working collaboratively to continuing to support the leadership of people like Ranking Member Grassley, Senator Lee on criminal justice reform measures, and other members, Senator Cornyn and others, who I've had the privilege of helping to support these bipartisan bills to get things done for the American people.
Let's go to our panel. Mustafa Santiago Ali, Ph.D., former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA. Kayla Bethea, communication strategist, as well as Ben Dixon, host Benjamin Dixon Show podcast. Kayla, I'll start with you. I'm just really, these whiny ass Republicans. Oh my God, you said these things in tweets. Oh my God, they're so mean. We're sitting there with supreme assholes, Senator Ted Cruz, Senator Tom Cotton, okay? You got that crazy nut Kennedy from Louisiana. You got the clueless wonder himself, Lindsey Graham. 4 years of Donald Trump and all his crazy tweets, and they're whining, complaining, first about Neera Tanden's tweets, and now, oh my God, the harsh rhetoric. Let me be real clear. To any future nomination that I might get, which will never happen, I don't regret not a damn tweet. Kelly, go ahead.
And, you know, obviously she's under oath and she is as forthcoming as possible during these hearings, and rightfully so. But deep down, I don't really think she regrets them either because, you know, looking back on them, there was nothing that she said that was untrue. If anybody's heard about it, it is a conviction as opposed to an attack. You know, they feel conviction based off of what they actually did and possibly a singe of guilt, so to speak. But as far as Ted Cruz, I mean, hypocrite is too kind of a word for this man. You know, cretin is a little bit more appropriate, but I can't think of anything that really adequately describes just how stupid and hypocritical and just anti-American this man is. He definitely has to go. And listening to him berate this woman for doing her job when not even a month ago he left to go to another country to evade doing his. I mean, again, with the hypocrisy, again, with the stupidity and the selective listening and the selective memory, just go somewhere, but not at the Senate. You just got to go.
The whining Ben is like, oh my God, really? I mean, really? Are we about to sit here and keep whining about tweets?
Yeah. Well, you see, Roland, for them, they have to find some kind of way to draw an equivalence, right? Because extremism to them is marching up the steps of the Capitol on January 6th and trying to overthrow the government on behalf of a white supremacist president. And so since there's no analog on the left or in the Democratic circles, they have to pretend as though these tweets are the worst thing in the world. And they also have to pretend that her policies that she's fighting for are so extreme when in actuality, they are well within the normal range of consideration in the discourse in this country. So for them, they want to set the standard to this asymmetrical fight where no matter what we do on our side is considered to be extreme, and no matter what they get away with on their side, they don't think anything of it.
Mustafa?
Vanita Gupta would be an excellent associate attorney general. She's put the work in, and that's the most important thing. She has fought for everyday people her entire career. You know, from the time she was at the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, you know, she's been fighting for LGBTQ rights. She's been fighting for Black and brown folks' rights. She's been fighting voter suppression. She's been, you know, advocating and fighting for policies around economic justice and workers' rights. She's been on the right side of the issues. Ted Cruz, on the other hand, you know, if he wants to talk about tweets, you know, it's not that hard to go back and take a look at some of the things that he said over the last number of years that in themselves could be, you know, folks could very easily say these have been negative, these have been degrading, these have been this and that. That doesn't matter. The substance is about the policy and the work that you have put in as an individual. And there's no comparison between the incredible work that she has done and the lack of work that has happened from the senator from the great state of Texas.
Well, it's simple. Republicans cannot stand the likes of Vanita Gupta. They can't stand Christian Clark. But the reality is, if Democrats stand firm, they certainly are going to be confirmed. So that's what our goal is. All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends, go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.